It had been an unusually quiet Saturday morning in our suburban home in Ohio. The birds were chirping outside, and the soft sunlight slipped through the white curtains of our living room window. I, Rachel Matthews, was enjoying the rare peace that came when everything just seemed to fall in place. My son Dylan had returned from college for spring break, and I couldn't have been happier. The house finally felt alive again. Dylan had always been a thoughtful and mature boy, never one to get into trouble. Now 21, he had grown into a tall, confident young man. He had his father's strong jawline and my deep brown eyes. It felt strange seeing him all grown up, driving his own car, talking about internships and relationships. Just yesterday it seemed he was building forts with blankets in the living room. That morning, I had woken up earlier than usual and decided to deep clean the house, a kind of spring ritual. I was scrubbing down the kitchen counters, humming to an old Fleetwood Mac song, when I realized I hadn't showered yet. Covered in sweat and streaks of lemon-scented cleaner, I made my way upstairs to take a hot bath before Dylan got up. The bathroom on the second floor had always been mine. Ever since my divorce with Dylan's father 6 years ago, I'd taken pride in reclaiming my space. I lit a lavender-scented candle and stepped into the warm tub, letting the stress of the week melt off me. My mind wandered, thinking about work, about my aging parents, about Dylan's future. I must have been in there for about 15 minutes when I heard the knock. It was soft at first, almost hesitant. "Mom." Dylan's voice came through the door. "Yes," I responded, a bit startled. "Everything okay?" "Yeah, I was wondering if I could talk to you when you're done." Something about his tone struck me. It wasn't casual. It had a seriousness to it, a kind of weight that made me sit up straighter in the bath. "Sure, sweetie. Give me 10 minutes. "Okay," he said, his voice quieter this time, and then I heard his footsteps slowly walking away. I quickly finished my bath, wrapped myself in a robe, and dried my hair with a towel. I stared at my reflection in the mirror for a moment. I still looked all right, I thought. The fine lines were showing, sure, but there was a strength in my face now that hadn't been there before. Maybe it was motherhood. Maybe it was surviving heartbreak. Or maybe it was just acceptance. I came downstairs and found Dylan sitting at the kitchen island, nursing a mug of coffee. He looked up as I walked in, offering a soft smile. I poured myself some orange juice and sat across from him. "What's up?" I asked. He shifted in his seat, clearly nervous. "Mom, I've been thinking a lot about something, and I didn't know who else to talk to." "Okay," I said, leaning in. "Whatever it is, I'm here." He looked down into his coffee before speaking. "Do you ever feel like the past is following you? Like no matter how far you go, something you didn't fully understand keeps circling back?" I blinked. That wasn't the kind of question I expected on a Saturday morning. "Yeah," I admitted slowly. "Sometimes." "Why?" He hesitated again, then said, "That day, years ago, when I was 16. You remember when you were in the bathroom and I knocked?" I froze for a second. My fingers tightened slightly around the glass. "I remember," I said. "You seemed upset. I thought it was because of that fight you had with your dad." Dylan nodded slowly. "That's what I let you believe. But that's not why I knocked." I stayed silent, sensing there was something more. "I had come home early that day, and I overheard you on the phone," he said, looking away. "I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but you were crying and talking to someone. You said something like, 'I can't let Dylan find out the truth about his father.'" I felt my heart tighten. That phone call. I had almost forgotten. He continued, "I knocked because I panicked. I didn't know if you were okay. And after that day, I kept wondering what you meant. But I didn't ask again. I just buried it." I felt the air get heavier. I took a deep breath. "Dylan," I said gently, "there are things I didn't tell you back then, because I wanted to protect you. You were too young." "Maybe. But I'm not a kid now." I nodded. He was right. Maybe it was time. "Your father wasn't just difficult," I said slowly. "He was unfaithful. For years. I didn't find out until I saw the bank statements and some messages on his phone. He had another family." Not just an affair. A second home. A woman. And a daughter. Dylan's eyes widened. You're saying I have a half-sister? I nodded. Yes. She would be about 5 years younger than you. I never told you because I didn't want you to grow up hating your father. Despite everything, he loved you. But he betrayed me in a way I couldn't forgive. Dylan looked stunned. His face changed, the gears in his head turning. All these years, I thought he just left because you two drifted apart. I smiled sadly. No, honey. He didn't leave. I asked him to go. After I found out. Dylan exhaled sharply. So, what happened to her? That girl? I don't know. I cut all ties with your father when the divorce was finalized. I didn't want to be part of that mess. We sat in silence for a while. The hum of the refrigerator was the only sound in the room. I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner, I said. I thought I was protecting you. He reached across the table and squeezed my hand. Thank you for telling me now. That moment felt like a crack had opened, not to break us, but to let the light in. A few days passed, and Dylan became quieter, thoughtful. He spent more time alone, often in the backyard or on his laptop. One night, I found him at the dining table surrounded by old family albums and a stack of printed papers. What's all this? I asked. I think I found her, he said softly. I stood still. There's a girl named Leah. She lives in Columbus. She's 19. I saw pictures of her on Facebook. And she looks like me, Mom. The idea of seeing that part of my past again made my stomach churn. But at the same time, I saw the curiosity in his eyes, the hunger to know his roots. Are you going to reach out to her? I asked carefully. I don't know yet. I'm scared. I walked over and placed a hand on his shoulder. Whatever you choose to do, I'll support you. 2 days later, he sent her a message. It was simple. Hey, I don't know if this is strange, but I think we might be related. I'd like to talk if you're open to it. Hours passed. Then a reply came. I've been waiting for this message my whole life. Dylan turned to me, tears in his eyes. She knew. I hugged him tightly, emotions flooding me. Weeks later, they met. In a quiet cafe outside the city. I didn't go, but Dylan told me everything afterward. Leah had known about him for years, but was told he didn't want anything to do with her. She had lived with the weight of being the secret child. But seeing Dylan, hearing the truth, gave her a sense of peace she'd never had. That night, after Dylan got back, I was brushing my teeth in the same bathroom. I looked into the mirror, thinking of how one knock all those years ago had unknowingly started this journey. A knock that wasn't just a request for a conversation, but a doorway to truth, healing, and reconnection. As I turned off the lights and walked down the hall, I found Dylan standing outside my room. Mom, he said, thank you for everything. I smiled, touching his cheek. You're welcome, sweetheart.